So Karen took advantage of the summer sale that we had about a week ago, and she got the blend brush and the eyeshadow brush and a palette 12 and all the items I have in here. Okay, so we are going to take it nice and slow, and I want to show you how I would use these products. Okay, so Karen, I've put together this palette this way. You can do it any way you like. I do suggest putting your creams on the top layer and your powders on the bottom layer. So a lot of my videos, you'll see me put it like contour and then brightening, highlight, main highlight in one layer and blend. But I'm going to do a little different today. You did not get a contour, but you got two colors that I would consider more of a bronzer. You got Nutmeg, that was on sale, and then Bella, which is my favorite bronzer. These are both warmer kind of browns. And so I would interchangeably like use those as bronzers. So I'm going to show you really quick. For contour, I don't really have them side by side, but if you can see at the top, those are warmer and the bottom two browns are cooler. So these are our contours and they do have different consistencies. And I know you didn't get them this time, but just in the future, if you want to get a contour, that's going to provide dimension. That's where we put it like on the cheekbone. I like to put it up here to shorten my forehead, on my jawline, to help disguise double chin, and then I like to use it to contour my nose. This is the one I use the most, called Indigo. This is another popular one called Ash. So, and then you can also get the line brush and fill in your eyebrows down the line. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead with the big end of the blend brush, this big fluffy end. I'm gonna go into the main highlight. Your main highlight is Candlelit, and your brightening is White Peach. So you'll remember that because one is a little bit darker than the other. If you forget, you can just look at the bottom of your tin. These are magnetic and the name is there. The packing slip that comes with your products are also stickers if you want to cut them and put them on your palette to label them. Okay, so when you use this brush, if you're used to using any sort of brushes with like powder, it's going to be that kind of motion because this is a fluffy brush. So I'm just going to kind of lightly, it's like a sweeping motion, just a little bit, start with a little tiny bit. And then just kind of put it everywhere. I start sweeping again. It's a sweeping motion with this brush. It's going to be a lighter coverage. You can also tap it on a little bit and then do the sweeping. So into Candlelit with the blend brush. And we're just going to do a nice little tapping. It's like a sweeping motion. It's not pressing really hard. It's not using any kind of really pressure. It's just a light sweeping motion. And wherever you place that color first is where you're going to place the most. So sometimes I do it here and then I work my way up to the eye so I don't get as much there. And you can put a little bit of product under the eye as well. So I am going to kind of, I'm basically putting it everywhere, but if I was going to be contouring, then I would avoid the contour areas. And then I do kind of avoid where I'm going to put the brightening highlight, which I'll show you in a minute. So just use it until you need to dip in and get some more. And then I usually like pounce it on there and then sweep it to blend. I hope the lighting's okay. I had to go in my bedroom, so I don't have the natural light on my side. Okay, so then tap, tap, tap. You just use the littlest amount because this stuff is very pigmented. You could always add more. I look at my mirror here. Okay, and that's just one beautiful light coverage. And if you want more, like if you have an area on your face, like I kind of have a blemish here, and you can go into this denser end or use your finger and just tap. So let's say I had some acne right there, and just go like that. And that's gonna give more coverage and just bounce and press. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the brightening highlight. I'm going to flip to this end. It's a little denser, so it's more pressing than sweeping. So I'm just going to go doot, doot, doot. And then I'm going to go inner corner of the eye. I like to do it right here. It kind of touches the nose. And it's more so right here than under the eye. See right there, I like to do it. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I bounce it at a diagonal because that gives you a lifted look. And I like to put a dot on my eye. At this point, and with the denser brushes, I'm really just placing in a pressing motion, and then I'm gonna blend it at the end. So then I like to do the center of my face. I do kind of like a chicken foot, so like 3 lines. So again, just dipping, and then I like to take it down the center of the face, above the lip, on the chin. Okay, and either side of the brightener is where I would contour if I had contour. You can experiment. What did I put here? With the colors with these 2 colors, if you want. It is a bronzer, but let's see, you have nutmeg. I've not honestly played with nutmeg very much, but you could, if you wanted, experiment with how you like the looks of using it as a contour, but it is kind of warm to be a contour. So it is normally a highlight, but on your skin tone would be more of a bronzer, if that makes sense. Okay, so then we can blend out the brightening. So you can use a combination of both sides. You can use your fingers a lot of times on the inner corners of your eyes. I like to tap it out and over like that. And then I would use the fluffy end for this side, and I would just do little swirlies up towards the temple. So your goal is always just to tap in place, blend, but not over blend to remove. Tap, 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 removing that eyelid discoloration. Okay, on the nose, I would tap it like that. So you're giving yourself that dimension and not totally blending it away. So I would consider that 3 parts of the 3D makeup. The next would usually be contour, but I will show you, Karen, using yours. So you would choose either nutmeg or Bella. Bella is my favorite, so I think I'm going to go in with that. I'm going to go in with my finger, but you could go in with the brush, okay? So if I use my finger, then you tap. Okay, so think of it as the shape of a 3, so it's the highest points of your face where the sun would naturally hit you, and we're just adding warmth. So that's where we placed it. Okay, I'm just gonna put a little bit more. Let's literally just do the shape of a C. Highest points of the face. Okay. Some people like to do it on their nose and their chin, and then you can bring it down your neck as well. Another tip, reverse to the beginning. If you wanted to start with Bella bronzer and take the fluffy end and put it in these areas, or areas you have melasma or discoloration, you can start with that and then put your main highlight over it. That's what's so cool about this makeup. It's so versatile, and I've heard that doing it that way can help when people have melasma, basically, or like big pores. Okay, so now I'm doing that sweeping motion again, kind of tapping, sweeping, just to kind of blend it out, and you can see the warmth it gave me. So you can do like circles, bounce, 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 circles, swirlies, sweepies. Okay, so again, we're using the blend brush. That was Bella. Okay, so I mean, we just basically took our main highlight, put it all over, brightening highlight, inner, outer quarters of eye, center of face, and then we put bronzer on the high points of our face using Bella bronzer. Okay, and then Karen, you got a Ibiza lip and cheek, a beautiful pinky nude. I'm gonna use my finger. Okay. You could also use this end of the brush if you wanted. And I'm gonna use my finger again, and I'm gonna put it on my cheeks. So this is like personal preference, but I find that most people I run into like it in this area, but you do what you want. So you can kind of use this little trick with your fingers to remember where to place it. You could think of it as like a 2-finger rule, and then I'm just kind of putting it higher up and back towards the temple. And then again, back to this brush and kind of tapping and swirling it up until it looks the way I want it to. And that's Ibiza Lip and Cheek. So pretty. Love this one. I need to wear it more. And you just add it wherever you want. Cool. All right. So there we go. And as you're following along, when I get you this YouTube video, Karen, you can just pause. And that's what I did when I first started using Seint. I just took some videos I saved to the bathroom, but after a couple of times, good to go. You'll have the muscle memory and you will remember. And you can arrange this however you like. That's how I did mine. On to the next layer. You got Vanilla Dust setting powder. So if you wanted to use the same brush, you certainly could. You could just kind of lightly feather some on, tap off the excess, and place it where you want it. Which for me, if I use setting powder, I put it in my T-zone. I don't cake it under my eyes. I would not recommend that. And then go ahead and put some on your lid because you already did put your cream highlight on there. You could put your brightening or your main. And we did that earlier. And now I'm pressing on some powder. And this is going to be a great base for the eyeshadow we're about to do. Okay, let's take a look in my mirror. Okay. So just have fun with it. You can play with your bronzers, your 2 brown shades, and you can just, if you want a more glowy bronzer look, just add some more. Bring it down the neck. You can put it on your collarbone. Okay, so now it's time for eyeshadow. So these are the beautiful colors you got, Karen. Let me see if I can remember. This one's, these are the 2 I always forget. Okay. Okay, so you got Finn, Amethyst, Leo, Rigoletto, and Crush. These are beautiful. You could certainly create a look with all of these, but you could do a 2 eyeshadow look, a 3 eyeshadow look. So I think, what should we do? Let's go into Leo first. Your kind of orangey shade and the eyeshadow brush. I suggest holding it kind of back to the end and then getting that fluffy end and just kind of lightly getting it on the tip. We're never doing like this with our brushes, okay? So we're just lightly, it's highly pigmented, and then we're gonna tap off the excess. Look straight ahead and then tilt your head up a bit and then place that brush on the outer corner and then just start doing little circles. That's just where I like to place it because it puts the most pigment. And then we're gonna windshield wiper in that crease and slightly above. Little circles, windshield wiper. This is just gonna give a beautiful wash of our transition shade, which is generally like a light to medium matte shade. Okay. A little bit on the brush to the other side. And we're just sweeping it across. Okay, just a light wash of Leo. I think I want some more. So it's a buildable, so you can just always add more. Very nice. Okay, options. I mean, now, Karen, I think for that step, this was a great choice. I think another choice, if you want more of a purpley look, could be to start with that one, okay? Then let's just say we're gonna do a 3 eyeshadow look. If you wanted to then go in with a darker shade to add dimension, I would say any of the 3 shades here would be a beautiful choice. So let's do Finn. Okay, so I would take the small end of the brush. It's denser. So now when you have dense, you want to press. Fluffy is sweeping. Dense is press. That's for face or eyeshadow. And then go ahead and just dab it in the corner. And then you can kind of push it over. Think of it as like a V. So I like to place the pigment there and then push some up into the crease and push some onto the lash line. And then, or just kind of pressing it on there. Okay. So let's get the color on this side, and then I'll show you I like to flip and blend a bit. And if you tap off the excess after you dip into it, then hopefully you'll have less fallout on your face. Okay? And then you can flip to this fluffy end and just do circles to blend that out. Circles to the right, circles to the left, over, over, over. Okay, let me peek in the mirror. Okay, that looks good. And then what I would suggest you, Karen, got one of the beautiful shimmers called Crush. So out of the 5 you got, this is the lightest. So I like to keep the lightest colors on my lid. So I would just dip into that with your finger and do inner and center lid. I don't go in or above the crease. I keep it right on the lid. You can also use your brush. I just prefer to use my finger because it gives more pigment. There you go. And then you can sometimes I just like to go back to that first shade one last time to do one final wash across. And if I want to see how it adds more color there. So you just kind of evaluate and see. And then if I wanted to darken those up, I could add more of that, but I think it looks good. Oh, here's what I like to do too, is I like to take 1 or 2 of the shades I used above and sweep it across my lower lash line. So I just dipped into the orange shade Leo with the dense end. You could use the fluffy end, but I like to use the dense end. And then I just swipe it across. So this would be, I would consider this the more lighter of these 2 that I used. Oh, wait. These 2, right? What did I use? Fin. Oh, Fin. Okay. And then also you can go back into Fin and also put it down here, but then I just do like the outer corner of the lower lash line. It just creates a beautiful look, like soft eyeliner look. So pretty. Okay, so we did Leo in the crease and slightly above. We did Fin on the outer corner for some beautiful dimension. And then we did Crush on the lid. So these 3 is what we used today. And that is just one look that you can create, but just have fun with it. You know, instead of this in the crease, you could have done this beautiful purple amethyst. So I think, you know, like amethyst and Rigoletto would look like a pretty 2-color eyeshadow. So just have fun with it. Okay, so that is all the products that you got, Karen. Enough to make one gorgeous, gorgeous look, multidimensional. So I hope that was helpful. On the first layer, I put your shades Nutmeg, White Peach, Candlelit, your Lip and Cheek Ibiza, and bronzer Bella. And again, you can just dip into Candlelit with your fluffy end of your blend brush. Kind of get that as your all over shade, do your brightening in the center of face, and then one of these browns to warm up the high parts of your face, Lip and Cheek. And then you can use your Vanilla Dust setting powder to kind of just put it in places you get oily throughout the day, and then create a beautiful eyeshadow look with your eyeshadow brush. And you got the palette 12, which was a great size to get started with. Okay, so I just want to show you a couple more things, like some extras. So you can create wish lists on the website. So if I were you and just giving recommendations, I would add the brush cleaner to your wish list. Before we got started today, I simply sprayed my brush and these brushes that I used, and this came off and they were dry and ready to use. So it's just the most amazing product. I've never seen anything like it. I used to spend the whole weekend washing my brushes in water and having to let them air dry, and that's annoying. Like, what if you forgot to clean your brush and you need to use it, right? So you can just spray your brush or the towel. It smells good too. And then you just swirl it, and then it's ready to use and clean and disinfected. So definitely recommend adding the brush cleaner to your list because you're gonna want to take care of those brushes. Another thing I would say, especially when you're new to Seint, is even if you don't get our Perfector sponge, to use a damp beauty blender. And I love still doing this to this day. It's great for mature skin. So I had just run it under water, and then I squeezed it, so it's just slightly damp. And then I just like to tap it all over at the end for one final blend. And then why it's really good for newbies is because it can help pick up any excess product you may have applied. So this is a great tool to add to your wish list. And then down the line, if you need any help with color correction, Demi 03 is my perfect shade for my dark under eyes, so I can help you pick a color. And then I also suggest getting a beautiful illuminator. So that's where you add it to the high points of your face for just a little something, just a little bit of a youthful glow. So pretty. We have creams and we have powders. And then, of course, we have just so many lip and cheeks. I love adding to my collection and playing mix and match, especially with summer. I love my pinks. And then down the line, if you want to add brushes, I'll give you some recommendations, but probably, I don't have my blush and bronzer brush, but that's my favorite. And then the detail brush. So down the line, if you want to get a contour and the detail brush, then I can show you how we would just add to this look just a little bit more, and we would contour the cheekbones, and it would be natural and really give a nice multi-dimensional lifted look, which is fun. Okay, so I hope I went slow enough and explained it well, but I'm always here to help. Seint 3D makeup, you need it in your life. Very natural, perfect for all skin. Doesn't feel like anything on my face. So, all right.